Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Today's video is going to be on the cold weather and possibility of a much active pattern with several snowstorms on the way for the nation. Before I start the video, I would like to ask you guys to please consider liking and subscribing the video. And I know the video hasn't started yet, but please, this helps a lot. And if you don't want to subscribe yet, then you could watch the video and watch some of my other videos and then you could decide. But thank you for your support. So let's get right into it. You can see there's going to be, for the next couple of days, it will be warmer temperatures across the eastern half of the nation, pretty much the whole nation other than the mountainous areas. But that quickly gets pushed out by a brief cool down. You could see nothing too major cold, meaning nothing too major below average, just maybe 2 to 3 degrees below average. And you can see there's going to be warm in the west, but this will soon change. The warm air pushes into the east for a brief while, but this looks much more impressive on the weather anomaly than it actually is in real life. The actual feels like temperature, not the feels like the actual temperature, and this is 30s and 40s. And you wanting to prove that to you? Look, all that bright orange color, that doesn't mean that's just 30s and 40s. That's barely reaching into 30s. It's not going to be 60s or 70s. So don't get confused by those bright colors. This is based off the average. And then the cold air pushes in. This is going to be some pretty hard cold into the teens, sending much of the areas into the teens. And if you notice this pattern, it isn't like the previous pattern um where basically where basically it was cold in the east and warm in the west. Now this cold outbreak will be more of a jet stream will be more running somewhere around the middle of the United States, somewhere across the south, and much of the north will be below average, and much of the south will be above average. And you could really see that pushing through, and you could really see that predominant pattern. Of course, there's gonna be a couple of warm ups, but again, this is really long out, and this most likely won't happen. These warm ups, this is just because the weather models can't believe that it's gonna be this cold, so they want to throw some warm air in. But I don't think this. I think it will still be all cold below average, and even if there is some warm ups, again, this is nothing major. We go back to the 2 meter air temperature. Look, the freezing line is way below here. Some warm ups of some 20 degrees, maybe, but that's again nothing major. And whenever you see these colors, that's just very intimidating because you don't even know how cold this is, guys. Look, just wait. Look at that, negative 30s, 20s, and this is all gonna push south into the um, Midwest, Northeast. This is gonna be some cold times for the U.S. And something tells me that this will be colder than what we had in early January for much of the nation. The South, however, there will be a high pressure spinning across in the Caribbean, and this will produce a lot of warm air for the areas like Florida and southern Georgia. Pretty much all of the southeast will be in warm air, warmer than average. Now let's move back. Yeah, now I want to show you the whole thing, but in actual 2 meter temperatures. So you could see this is the brief cool down that's going to happen this Tuesday. Still 20s, 15, 16 across Chicago area, 16 for Detroit. So this is still pretty cold air, but that's nothing to what compared to what's gonna come. We move forward, and you can see there's gonna be that brief warm up. Nothing too major. Some 30s. If there's any snow, it's most likely gonna melt a little bit. Not before the freezing air comes south. And this is where it really starts getting serious. Look at that, 15, 13, 8 below. That's some really cold air. That's colder that we had at the beginning of the season. So again, there will be problems with the pipes, school closures. There will be a bunch of accidents because snow will fall, then it could melt and it could refreeze. It will be a big problem. And the colder just goes further and further south as we go on. Look at that, all that pink. That's negative 30s across the border with Canada. That's just insane cold. Stay tuned for this, guys, because this cold is not going anywhere as far as I'm concerned. These models have been putting out this cold for many days, and it's not going to change. So now let's look at the precipitation and what to expect when it comes to precipitation. So that storm that I made a video earlier on, It did unfortunately miss the coast, and I said unfortunately because I know there's going to be a lot of snow lovers for East Coast that would want that snow, but unfortunately it's not going to happen. But I guess that's a good thing if you don't want headaches and travel problems. And there's going to be a little small clipper. I shouldn't say small, it's going to be a pretty large clipper, but it's going to affect the northern United States in a very small way. There's going to be some lake effect snow for for Chicago. When this storm arrives to the East Coast, that'll push the winds this direction, and that will bring in some northeast winds into Chicago. So you can see there's a chance of some light snow, but this is the real situation. They've been showing this going up and down these models. You can see it was further south, much more strength, further up north, and now it's all over the place. And I do think that this storm will happen, but the GFS is still very not reliable this far out. Changes pretty much every model run. So you can see there's big storms that are just going to be firing up. And again, I think that this storm is definitely something to watch because yesterday it was pointing out way much more snow. Let's look at the Canadian model, which is still much more aggressive with this system. And you could see it pushes it up a little bit farther north and has a lot more moisture with it. And that's pretty much going to be the pattern with these models. There's going to be a lot of inconsistency. Let's look at the European model, what it has to say with the rain. Let's first actually look at the temperatures. So again, the European model, I will just play this for you. Hopefully this will go. You can see there's just going to be anywhere you see that blue color, that's the 32-degree line. And it pushes up once in a while a little bit further up north, but overall the cold air will stay for much of the nation, and it will transition from more of a eastern half of the nation will be cold to a more of the northern half of the nation will be cold, and the southern half will be warm. We'll transition more of that. So more snow for the northwest if they've been lacking, and more snow for the north areas like Chicago in the Midwest. Also more snow and areas in the northeast, upper northeast. Um, the northern parts of the northeast because areas like mid Atlantic might not be too lucky with this systems with this cold blast. We could see pretty much cold air. And now let's go to the rain slash snow. This is the snow I was talking about that I was showing you guys that there's definitely something to watch. The European model is in fair agreement with the GFS. It's not pushing it up north either. It's pushing it fair south. And it's a little bit stronger than the GFS has it, but again, nothing too major. Let's see how much snow they put out, new snow accumulations. Let's go next 5 days, next 10 days. Nothing too much, nothing that's gonna be as those some of those storms we saw. Let's actually check this out. 7.8 inches. That's quite a big dose, but again, guys, this is in the most likely. This is I don't know if this is gonna happen because this is changing every time by the model run, and it's been decreasing every time. So stay tuned, guys. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys in the next episode.